Man, feels good, doesn't it? It feels good to get back to regular old gameplay commentary and not have to do the Streamlabs videos for what was a very exciting 2024 NHL Entry Draft. Now, I'll say this again in this video, like we had said in the videos 2 days ago, but I apologize for not streaming this year's 2024 draft. I was not in a position to do so, had no sleep, no ability to really stay awake, and I had a lot of errands to run. I was very busy during the draft and was not able to pretty much be available for 5 hours straight to do a stream. It was an entire thing this year, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get that done. Would have wanted to get it done, though. In fact, I put a lot of money on the table to not stream today. It's always been very financially profitable for me to do the live streams and for us to interact in the chat the entire time, but yeah, we weren't able to do that this year. I lost out on quite a bit of dough, but that's okay, because we still were able to make some videos and put together a Day 2 draft show that saw us put together 26 total videos on the day. Now, I'm not saying that these 26 videos were anywhere near my magnum opuses or opi or whatever the plural version of opus is. I don't really know if that's even correct, but either way, none of these 26 videos from yesterday were masterpiece videos. They were just videos quickly explaining what happened. And for the Canucks, the Red Wings, and the Montreal Canadiens, I appreciate you for giving me the time of day on your phone screens, computer screens, TV screens, or whatever to bring some insight as to the prospects that our favorite teams ended up drafting. We still made some money. That's, of course, the biggest benefit for me when it comes to these draft show programs, but back down to earth we go, at least for today. Because tomorrow is free agency, and things are going to get even crazier at that point in time. Let's talk today, though, about the Montreal Canadiens, because it's no secret that I think a lot of people in Canadiens land are super happy with the way the 2024 draft went for Kent Hughes and co. This was a selection for the ages, and in a way, you could say it's Kent Hughes' best selection of guys. This Montreal Canadiens draft class was nothing short of spectacular. You had the top-tier, star power, star-studded guys at the very beginning of the draft, and really good depth acquisitions throughout, names that a lot of Canadiens fans wanted to see, others that we really thought could have been potential targets, but whom we didn't really realize would actually be there, and other names throughout the rest of the draft that just happened to be solid, good guys. And if you wanted to go over to the draft class summary, this was posted onto the RHAB subreddit earlier yesterday. It was Scott Wheeler writing his 2024 NHL Draft first round winners. Take a look at this. The Montreal Canadiens were listed as winners because they picked Ivan Demidov, 5th overall. Wheeler had Demidov ranked 2nd, and the Canadiens also picked up Michael Hage, whom Scott Wheeler ranked as the number 15 guy. I can't think of a better outcome for the Montreal Canadiens, Wheeler writes. We know where their young group of defensemen is at. Now they've added 2 of the best forwards in the draft, one of whom is an elite skill guy and one of whom is a center with length. Skating, Hage is one of the best skaters in the draft. Skill, he gets high grades in this class here too, and a profile that I love. I believe that Demidov is the second best prospect in the draft and is a home run for the Habs. A true game breaker is the one thing it felt like their core was missing. The kind of player who can challenge for 90 to 100 points if things break right. There's no guarantee that he'll become that, but I see that kind of an upside, and he feels like a 70 to 80 point player at his floor. I think he's going to make magic happen in the NHL and thrill one of the most passionate fan bases in pro sports. It'll be great for the league. And Michael Hage might be my favorite prospect in the draft. I think he's got a legitimate path to becoming a long career top 6 player. I comped him to Jordan Kyrou, and I think that's within reach. This is a big day in the Habs rebuild and the best day one of the draft they've had in the bunch. One to remember. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say that anything is guaranteed, but to have one of the main scouts and athletic guys go out there and say, yeah, This guy has 90 to 100 point potential as a ceiling and 70 to 80 point potential as a floor. A floor? Whoa, okay. When was the last time the Canadiens had a guy this good in their prospect system? I'd say the last guy with maybe this kind of a ceiling was Cole Caulfield, but of course there were so many concerns with Cole Caulfield because he was 5'7" that, that's why he slipped to 15th overall, and you can debate that he hasn't really hit his ceiling yet. Of course, he's still only like 23 years old, so he's got a lot more time. And then you got the Uri Slafkovskys of the world, and you can say that he's got a really high ceiling, but does that ceiling necessarily translate to 80 or 90 points as a ceiling? I'm not too sure, honestly. Like, if Slafkovsky has a career year of 82 points in a season, I'd think that's pretty good. I don't know if it's, like, the most realistic thing to project out of him. I think there's a lot more intangible quality to Uri Slafkovsky as a player that goes beyond just points. But Ivan Demidov is so skilled offensively, he is so dynamic and so in your face, that this is a guy that will change the face of the Habs forever. He said himself, when it comes to players that he may compare himself to, he thinks his playstyle is like Jack Hughes with Kirill Kaprizov combo, and maybe the skills of Nikita Kucherov. Oh my goodness, Nick Bobrov said this, that Demidov has been compared to Kucherov and Kaprizov. His ceiling is as high as some of the best players in the league, and he expects nothing less than that from himself, which is the most important part. And then you have the rest of the draft too. Michael Hage is a guy that has so many fans, and for good reason. He could be a middle to top 6 caliber forward. I mean, we said middle to bottom 6 in the draft video 2 days ago because it's like, hey, if you have Suzuki and Doc, then does Michael Hage dethrone an Owen Beck, for example? And you have a really strong center core that way. But if Michael Hage is good enough to overtake a guy like Doc, then okay, be my guest. Show us what you got. The rest of the draft class is great too. Aatos, Koivu, of course, being the main, let's just say, prize outside of the top round. Montreal Canadiens legend Saku Koivu, his son, and newest Montreal Canadiens prospect in the system. What an amazing pickup. I thought it would, not even be realistic to have him there just because it's like, hey, are the Canadiens really going to draft that guy, Are they going to go with the fan servicey route? But they did. And he's a good player. He's a good prospect to have in the system who just so happens to be that guy. And then you talk about the other names. Okay, Logan Sawyer did some really good things in the Junior A scene this previous season. Of course, he's got some development to go through. Owen Protz, the physical defenseman from the Brantford Bulldogs. We said he could have been like an Arbor-Xhekaj 2.0. They play very similarly. Tyler Thorpe, local guy from my side of the pond over here. Richmond, BC native, playing for Vancouver. Mikus Vecvanags, the goaltender from Latvia, and then of course the rest of the picks towards the end there, Ben Merrill, Makar, Khanin, and Rasmus Bergqvist. We are not going to go too deep into the later guys, mostly because it's like, hey, this guy's taken in the 7th round, 210th overall, he's not going to be like the most amazing player ever. But the Canadiens did get themselves a second Russian with skill out of St. Petersburg's Dynamo Junior team in the MHL, so Demidov and Khanin together. That's pretty cool. Also, the fact that Khanin's first name is Makar, that's kind of funny. Very, very funny. But either way, the Montreal Canadiens had themselves a draft season for the ages, and that's not even going too deep into it. We're just doing a surface-level commentary here to go over things, because it's been quite a while since I sat down and made a video. It's been like 20-something hours, so yeah. I had to take a little bit of a break after making 26 videos yesterday. We did a pretty good job, I would say. Had a good time. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Montreal Canadiens draft class in 2023-2024. What are your thoughts on Demidov? What are your thoughts on Hage? What are your thoughts on Koivu? And everybody else that came afterwards. I hope you enjoyed this video. Roll 99. And bye.